Guys, how are we doing? Hope you're good. So I wanted to do some Sunday fire, get you in the mood, ready for the week, okay? So if you are coming through, if you're watching, please do let me know by hitting the love heart button. Please do let me know that you're watching. And in the comments, please put whether you struggle with vision or whether you actually are quite savvy with vision and actually are building up one for yourself, all right? So I'm going to go through 3 different models of vision. And I'm going to explain why we end up in those visions and how we can get to possibly the vision that we want to, okay? Just before we start, tomorrow on the Rise Alive show, I have a really big announcement to make in terms of a brand new opportunity that we've been working at. I'm not going to say any more. You're just going to make sure that you tune in live tomorrow, 5:30 in the morning, because it's definitely going to be worth showing up for, okay? And we think it's going to be a really exciting new opportunity for guys to get involved. Okay, looking to get off the ground and start moving, all right? So make sure you're watching Rise to Thrive show tomorrow, 5:30. We're going to deliver that brand new announcement for you guys. All right, so there are 3 different types of vision, all right? So we've got this guy here. This guy here is very close vision. It's like when you basically are standing next to this tree. This is my man here. He's about 6 inches away from the bark, and all he can see is the bark. That's all he can see, right? He can't see anything else. And that's very much like a lot of people in life. They end up just seeing what's right in front of them, become very reactive. It's kind of like a Groundhog Day mentality, okay? We're not really thinking to the future. We're not being proactive enough. And then we kind of flick between this vision here, okay? So this is when we stand 10 meters back behind the tree, and we can kind of see around the tree, and we can see a little bit about what's happening, okay? Why do we end up in these 2? Now, these 4 might hurt. Okay, if you find yourself going between, actually, I don't have any vision, or I kind of get a little bit of vision, I kind of go into the gym a little bit, but then I'm going straight back and resorting to the way that I am. It's usually because of these reasons. Number 1, you tolerate what it is. Exactly, when we say it is what it is, you tolerate whatever comes your way. Meaning, you are failing, okay, to be able to deal with those situations. Just tolerate it. Whatever comes your way. It's like someone punching you in the face, you tolerate it. If someone comes and criticises you, you tolerate it. If something doesn't go right, we just accept it. We tolerate it. And the reason that we stay in these negative vision models here is because we just tolerate too much. Okay, we're not putting boundaries up. We're not fighting back. Like I say to a lot of people, if you got attacked, if I literally come up to you, start swinging at you, I like to think that the majority of you would start swinging back and fighting back. But why aren't we doing that in everyday life? Why aren't we doing that when we're managing our work schedules, when we're trying to build a body that we're proud of, when we're trying to improve our mindset, when we're trying to be the dad that we want to be or the husband that we need to be, right? And we're just tolerating too much, okay? Number 2, we're ignoring the truth. So right now we're burying our head. We procrastinate on all of the issues that we really need to be dealing with, okay? All of those things that you know are happening, but we're turning a blind eye to them. We're burying the head, we're ignoring it because you know what? It's quite painful. It's going to take a lot of hard work to get out of it. You know, you don't quite know how to get out of it, but it's just like hearing a noise in the background. You're like, oh, I can hear a noise, but I'm just going to ignore it and hopefully it will go away. So like, all right, I tell you how I do that is when there's a problem on my computer and I go, maybe if I just restart it, it will work. No, it hasn't worked. I'm sure it will go away. And that's what we do with our lives, right? We just keep ignoring the truth and everything else that's going on. So we just stay with that vision right in front of the tree, or we might come back a little bit. But we just flit in between the 2. Number 3, you're just stuck in your pity party. Like the numerous amounts of excuses that I hear, it's become like, I've almost to the point where I've just like, the minute someone starts that excuse and you're in that victim state, we've got to be able to step out of it. All right, there's too many people like in a victim state, not really understanding a bigger picture, and in that pity party, and we kind of stay in that state, and it's a real negative and draining environment on your battery, on you. So we don't really think about vision. We don't really think about any further than maybe a day, or we just think the world's against us, or we just think the world's awful. We've got to snap out of it. You know, you're not going to get anywhere staying in that place or that state. And then naturally your self-belief is quite low. When that self-belief is low, it's very difficult to be able to get yourself on the winning train, to be able to move forwards and strive forwards. So you've got to be able to build some self-belief somewhere, okay? And that might trigger a couple of people, but, you know, it is what it is. It only triggers people when they really know it's the truth, and they're challenged, and that's the challenge, right? Men are not challenged enough on the way that they live their lives, the way they're doing things. If you want to read a great example of that, you can read my email in the morning from a guy that I spoke to at the weekend. Absolutely bizarre, okay? We've got to start waking up. You've got to start waking up, like, because just like my man's situation out at the weekend, it's not until the wife leaves you and then you wonder how on earth did it come to that, because you've been so blinded, right? Because you're so blinded, we got blindsided, because we got so consumed in our own lies, in not confronting the mirror, in not being honest with ourselves, and just going around in a cycle of lies to ourselves, right? We just lie to ourselves over and over again. And I've been there. I spent 3 years. I wasted 3 years in that. And all of those three things there is why I stayed in my pity pie for 3 years when I left the military. You know, that transition of identity, that lack of purpose, that lack of drive, it was everyone else's fault but mine. You know, it's your fault that I'm in this state, okay? I tolerated bad working relationships. I tolerated poor management. I tolerated other people dictating the way that my life was running. Okay, and I just ignored it for 3 years. It's going to get better. It doesn't. Unless you actually work at it, you know, you've got to step up. So, like, look at this dude here. This is where I like to think a lot of people get to. My job, my role, is to coach people away from the tree, climb up the mountain, and have some vision about where their life's going, all right? So, how we get to here is you don't tolerate lies to yourself. I think that's the key thing that I took away from my own experience. You've got to stop lying to yourself. So stop tolerating the excuses why you're not going to the gym to look good and be proud of yourself. Stop tolerating the lies about why you can't, like, manage your nutrition. Stop tolerating a job that's making you miserable in a career jail. Stop tolerating a below par standard in terms of the way that you show up as a husband to your wife or your kids. Okay, you've got to be able to come face to face with yourself and your weaknesses and your shortfalls. You know, we are at that space. We're not where we want to be. That's cool, but we've got to try and relearn to educate ourselves to live again. How do we grow? How do we build? Okay, you've got to become the priority, and I don't mean buy a bachelor pad and your own TV. I mean, we're going to do things like a morning routine. We're going to make sure we train. We're going to make sure we invest in our mind and our attitude and the way that we show up. Okay, and then you've got to start believing yourself in a bit more. There's not enough self-belief in men, right? There's not enough self-belief in men, and we've got to make sure that we understand our potential. Your potential is huge. Like, you can achieve anything that you want in this life, and I truly believe it. If I can do it, then Jesus, you can do it. So, but you've got to know what that vision is, right? You've got to know what that vision is, and when you get to that place, and through the process, and through building an identity, you actually start to build that vision, and you move away from this, okay? And you move away from this. If you allow life to consume you, your excuses, your distractions, and all of those other elements, you're going to stay here for the rest of your life. And if you're cool with that, then you're winning, right? If you are cool. But if you're not cool with that, then we've got to start facing some hard truths, right? Hard truths. And I just wanted to, it's more of an awareness post, right? It's more of an awareness post to say, hey, look, let's go into Monday aiming for this model. Let's not go into Monday being this model, all right? And let's see if we can maintain it for a week, right? Let's see if we can maintain it for the week. And obviously tomorrow, 5:30, there's your first challenge. Meet me at 5:30 tomorrow morning, live on the Man Coach, ready for the Rise to Thrive show. Big announcement, big opening session. Big show to get you in the mood for the week. Have a cracking night.